A little background. I live in Central Europe. My mom is a native while my dad is Indian. I was born and raised in my mom's country, but my dad made sure I went to India every other year for a couple of weeks at least. I'm not close to my relatives on my dad's side because I find them too nosy, but had to keep in touch because family. Now, when I'll be saying cousin, aunt, etc., I'll always be talking about my dad's family. I recently moved to the capital because of more lucrative job opportunities. Turns out my cousin's husband lives here. Yay! And my cousin and her twin toddlers will soon be coming here from India. The problem: my cousin's husband shares his flat with 3 other men, and this way he saves a lot of money and he can send it back home. He said he'll get a promotion in some months, but right now he can't afford to pay 100% of the rent on his own and still be able to send money to his family back home. Now, since I live in the same city, my cousin, her husband, and their entire family expect me to let my cousin and her children live with me from mid-November till early March, and they had already made their plans with this assumption in mind. I had no intention of letting my cousin and her kids live with me, so I told them that my rent is quite high, and I don't think my cousin's husband will be able to pay me half of it, plus eventual bills every month, and that they'd be better off getting a small apartment of their own. Guess what? My aunt had the nerves of telling me, "Family kiska legi hadi hai." I probably butchered the spelling and pronunciation, but it means that's what family is for. So now I'm supposed to let my cousin, plus her 2 kids, I'm not a fan of kids, live with me for free, and I am the one who will have to cover their bills, groceries, etc., till her husband gets his promotion. I find this extremely unfair. Why am I supposed to lose my money and my independence for someone else? I told my aunt that this won't be possible, and she again tried to guilt-trip me with the whole blood is thicker than water dialogues and so on. I have to admit that I did lose my temper and told them off, and my aunt had the gall to say that with this attitude, no one would want me as their daughter-in-law. She hasn't called me since that day, but now they got my dad to do their bidding. I love my dad, but he's a doormat when it comes to his siblings and can't say no to them. He's telling me how it's just a matter of a few months and that it's good to help family, etc. My job is already exhausting, and with all this extra stress, I feel like I'm going crazy. Stand your ground. Do not be guilted or manipulated into agreeing to this. Just because they are related to you does not mean you are obligated to not only house them, but also pay for all their crap, and they are certainly not entitled to that. If your dad wants to help them out so bad, he can rent them an apartment himself and cover their bills, but it's not your problem. Also, not that it matters, but her comment about how nobody would want you as their daughter-in-law is just laughable. Nope. Stop talking to these a-holes. They're moochers, and they wouldn't do the same thing for you either. They'd just whine about you every dang time and make you feel as unwanted as possible, while telling everyone how gracious they are. You know, the same attitude you should be having, except Central European culture doesn't give as much a crap about your family and the reputations. Tell your dad you'll talk to him in March when he has things figured out for his family. You're not part of any arrangement. By the way, do inform your neighbors and landlord that if someone comes to ask to be let in, you haven't given permission. The long-lost family story can be endearing, especially if kids are involved. I've been with Katie for almost 2 years now. She's everything I could possibly want in a girlfriend. I was planning on proposing later this summer to her, but now I'm just not sure. I made it very clear from the start of our relationship I want at least 1 child, and she told me she did too when she was a bit older. She'd like to be at least 25 when she has a child, and I agreed and said there was no rush for it. It's just becoming a father is something I definitely want to do. She also told me early in the relationship she's been on the contraceptive pill since she was 15 for hormonal acne. I told her that was fine and she could just come off the pill when she was ready, and then we could potentially start having a baby together. Earlier this year, end of December 2021, I brought up again that I'd like a child at some point, and Katie actually said she'd been thinking for a while of becoming off her birth control and trying for a baby with me. I was over the moon and incredibly happy, and so we decided to finally start trying properly. The first month in January, she got her period, and I was a little disappointed, but also know these things don't happen straight away. I have to be patient. But every month that's since gone by, and she still had a period. I felt more and more disappointed each time. We've tried everything, including tracking her cycle and having sex around her ovulation date, but it didn't seem to work. I've tried to keep my spirits up and support Katie, as she's also been kind of down about the whole thing. But I've kept reminding her it's only been 5 months now, and I'm sure she'll fall pregnant within a year or so. She's had a couple of late periods, and each time I've asked her to do a pregnancy test, and we've gotten the single line. It's crushed me a little bit inside. This brings me to today. Katie had woke up and once again had her period. I felt that pain in my chest, but put a sympathetic smile on for her and told her when it happens, so don't blame yourself. I went into the bathroom to get her some painkillers only to realize we didn't have any. I assumed she might have some in her purse, which was in the front room on the table. I opened her purse and picked up a little packet of pills. Only these weren't pain medicine. They were contraceptive pills. My heart sank as the box was empty. Yet in her purse, she had another box which was full. I took them to her and asked why she had these pills if she hadn't been taking the pill for almost 6 months now. She started to panic and tried to grab the boxes from me, saying she's so sorry and she can explain everything. But when I gave her a chance to do so, she couldn't at all. All she said was she wasn't ready for a baby yet. And when I asked her why she couldn't just tell me that, rather than have us both go through the pain every month she didn't conceive, she didn't have a reason. I told her it was fine if she changed her mind and wasn't ready, but she should have told me. I said I couldn't trust her anymore, and she's gone behind my back to hide something pretty big from me, and she got upset and said she's going to visit her mom for the day. I let her go, but since I've been home by myself thinking about this, I've realized how badly it's ducked me up. I always made sure she could tell me anything. I've never put pressure on her or shouted at her or done anything to make her feel otherwise. I just don't understand how she could have been taking these pills behind my back without telling me, while faking the disappointment I felt every month when she's got her period. I don't know where to go from here. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to propose in 3 months' time anymore. It's going to take a lot to build my trust back, and I don't know if she can. Not having a child is a deal breaker for me. It's just crappy, as I love this woman with my whole heart. I'm so hurt by this. So I know quite a few people aren't going to be a fan of my opinion, but I think you should leave her. A lot of people here seem to be glossing over the fact that she completely lied and then faked all the disappointment, and then are blaming you for being hurt about the situation. You're allowed to be hurt, and so is she. Here's a deep reason, more focused on the topic. She lied about wanting kids at this time. It's past the time you talked about wanting them, and you have been completely straightforward with her on that subject. It's not that hard to tell someone that you have changed your mind and want to push it back a couple years. But here's the thing. Maybe she doesn't want kids at all, and that's also okay. But you want them. It's time to really put together if you are willing to potentially not have kids to be with her. Hey, my 2 cents. Get ducking married before you have kids. Stop pressuring her. You delaying the proposal and acting funny only makes her not want to tell you things. Don't pressure her, and have a good heart-to-heart conversation about what she wants. If she doesn't want kids, only then decide to break up. So, I have some relatives who don't believe in birth control, strict Catholics, and have 12 children. The father is an actor, and the mother is a school teacher. They rely on help from the church and wealthy families to make ends meet. I'll be honest, I don't like this aunt and uncle. I'm an atheist, and although I don't agree with their religious views, I still respect them. I am not respected back. They constantly try to shove religion down my throat and tell me that I'm going to hell. They called me a moron for believing in evolution. Furthermore, they have a holier-than-thou attitude, even though they are and extremely homophobic. I could go on and on about how much I can't stand their hypocritical views. Anyways, I used to give my used clothing to family because they needed it. In recent years, they've started a small business that is now doing really well. They aren't rich because of how many kids they have to support, but they are now solid middle class. My aunt has been buying herself expensive designer handbags, and she's been going on fancy trips. The last time I gave her a bag of used clothes for my cousins, she made them wait until their birthdays to receive the clothes as their birthday gift. This really angered me because my aunt and uncle have been spending their new wealth on themselves and not their kids. The last straw with these relatives was when I posted a picture of myself with my 2 gay friends congratulating them on their engagement. My aunt commented, "Your decision to surround yourself with F is the reason you're going to burn in hell." I no longer want to associate with these relatives. I've never liked them, nor do I feel respected by them. Although I feel bad for the kids, they possess the same views as their parents. If my aunt has the money to buy herself $3,000 purses, then I think she can afford to buy her kids clothing. I am instead choosing to give my old clothing to one of my coworkers who just left an A husband and is struggling to make ends meet as a newly single mom. My mom says that blood is thicker than water, and I've chosen to abandon my family. She also says that it's not fair to punish the kids because I don't like their parents. Furthermore, she says that they, the kids, are products of their environment and shouldn't be blamed for their views. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I am in college and my mom pays for all my clothing. I work part-time to help with rent. She doesn't know my coworker. She wants me to give my clothing to my aunt, her sister. She says that since she pays for them, I shouldn't have a choice. I have to give away clothes before buying new ones. Also, I actually didn't know that Catholics believe in evolution. I assume they didn't because the only ones I've talked to about it are my aunt and uncle. They are both extremely close-minded, so it wouldn't surprise me since they obviously don't practice what is preached. I'm not sure if this makes a difference, but my family is Hispanic. I'm actually trying to confirm with my mom that they indeed attend a Catholic church. Edit number 2. For people asking about what the kids are like, they aren't as bad as their parents. They are and are very friendly. However, they are still against same-sex marriage and have very patriarchal views. This is what my mom is referring to when she said that they are products of their environment. They're happy and healthy, but kind of weird. I mean this in the sense that they all act way younger than they are. For example, the ones closer to my age, 20s, will laugh and freak out if you say the word S or P. They've grown up in a bubble, and it's not surprising. Final update. I've decided to stand my ground and give the clothing to my coworker. I do feel bad for the children and will try to reach out and explain to them why they will no longer be receiving stuff from me. For those telling me to split the donations between both parties, I truly feel as though the only way for my aunt to start spending on her kids instead of herself is if the charity train stops. I've gotten my mom to be okay with this. I've already blocked both my aunt and uncle on Facebook. My mom is actually planning to have a sit-down chat with said aunt to explain why I, and several other relatives, are cutting contact and not helping her anymore. Not the a-hole. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Support those who are there for you. Your aunt and uncle obviously are not. Also, your mom's argument is bull. She might have bought the clothes, but they are yours. It's not like she is loaning them out to you or something. Not the a-hole. I get it. You don't want to punish the kids, but you aren't the one punishing the children. Their parents are. There comes a time in everyone's life where they have to distinguish themselves as an individual, separate from their families, and that doesn't always jive well. You also don't know if maybe one of those kids will turn out to be gay or non-binary or trans, and while they have their parents' beliefs now, they won't always. They might need you as an ally eventually. I come from a family who all worked their way up through apprenticeships to full-time work. They all had jobs with hard and physical labor, often working over 45-plus hours a week. I'm the black sheep of the family because I was the only one, out of cousins, aunties, siblings, parents, etc., to attend university. I was ridiculed through most of it. I heard the usual spiel about working your way up through a company and how a degree doesn't earn you skill. I busted my butt off at university, and I'm glad that I did. I am acclaimed in my unit of study and have had many studio offers made before I have even finished my degree. For context, I work in graphic design, programming, animation, development, etc. I'm seen as someone who just sits on a chair all day. Today, I got my first industry job. I worked freelance, and it is amazing. I love it there. I wanted my family to be proud, but they're all disowning and alienating me for sitting in an office all day with better hourly rates than they have after years in the trade. I feel terrible. I was really proud of myself and my portfolio. I've put endless hours and hard work into building my career, and I just feel completely shot down. I don't know how to approach my family about this, or if I should even bother. I was really proud of myself and my portfolio. And you should be. Don't let them tear you down from jealousy. But also, don't think that you can change them. Live for you and those who support your success. Those who don't support your success will only cause problems. They're jealous and are trying to pull you down. You earned what you have through hard work and skill in a very competitive field. Resenting someone for having something, not even because you want it for yourself, but simply because you don't want them to have it, is the most petty form of jealousy there is.